Welcome back to Big Damn Geeks TV. It's been a little bit, but we're back. I'm always Pete, joined by
Jean-Claude.
Today we're going to be talking Game of Thrones season finale.
Yeah. Dun-dun.
Alright, so last night was the season finale of season 7 of Game of Thrones.
Season 7.
An almost 90-minute episode, pretty much feature length. A lot of stuff happened, a lot of craziness. I stopped breathing at 2 separate points. Yeah. Let's just say it right now. Spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
We're not holding back. We're talking about everything.
It's going to be a spoiler-filled
episode.
Yeah. So yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, go watch this.
Go watch and then come back
and check us out.
And leave us some comments below. Let us know what you thought, and we'll respond to them with the next episode.
So I'd say let's start off at the beginning, I guess. So like the show starts off the episode starts off with like all the rulers of this world are gonna go into a meeting. Yeah. And then you see them all like show up, and Cersei comes with the mountain, trying to look all badass and everything, and and of
course she demands to know where Daenerys is because she's not with the rest of them. And they say, "Oh, she'll be here," and she comes in, of course, on the fucking dragons.
The motherfucking dragons.
Which there are 2 left now, because at the end of the previous episode, obviously, one was killed by the Night King.
It's turned into a zombie dragon now.
Which we'll get to in a bit as well, because that plays heavily into the end of the episode. But so they're all there. They pretty much start discussing their options. Nobody believes
nobody believes what's going on. Of course,
Cersei's group, we should say, doesn't believe what's going on.
Cersei's is definitely, being the asshole character we all love and know, And then I do have to say something about it. Some of the characters, like size-wise, like we were talking about that, it's a meteor. Does the mountain seem smaller? Is it played by the same guy, or or they're doing different camera angles or something?
Yeah, because we were discussing last night how there's a scene, a bit of a scene when the Hound approaches the Mountain, who are obviously supposed to be brothers. Yeah. And the Hound tells him how he's uglier than he is now. And as they're standing there, the Mountain is still taller than him, but not as much as I remember. In the very first season, I remember him very much having a good, half a foot to foot over the Hound.
It's like he's bigger than pretty much almost anybody. And then this season seems like he's definitely taller than everybody, but not.
I feel like his bulk size has gone down.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it's the armor he's wearing just hides it, but I don't feel like he's as ripped.
Maybe it's ripped or something, or they're doing something a little bit different there. Like, he doesn't look as big as he did in, I think the last season.
Maybe, like you said, maybe it is just a different actor in the suit. Maybe because he's a zombie, he's withering away.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
But let's go back to it. The next scene, you see the Hound bringing in this box and
carry on this huge box on his back like a badass.
So he drops it off. He opens the box. There's some tense moment where there's nothing happening, and Cersei's just like, "What the hell?" And then all of a sudden he kicks over the box, and White Walker runs out. Goes right after Cersei, gets within a foot of her. And
before the Hound has pulled it back in the chains it has. Yeah. And then suddenly everyone believes.
Yeah. And then you see Jon Snow step forward. He tells them how to kill them by fire or dragon glass. And they go and they talk about how they wanted to start,
a truce and working together. But Cersei wants Jon to pledge fealty to her and become a non-threat.
Yeah, she wants him to be pretty much neutral in the war that's going to be after the Great War. But Jon Snow, instead of lying, and he decides to like be truthful and said he already pledged to Daenerys, and it pisses her off, and she walks off. And says that they can fight their own battles, and then she'll be there mop up the
end.
Yeah.
Which leads to a great scene where Tyrion says he's going to go talk to her because he's the only one she'll possibly listen to.
Yeah.
And it leads to this incredibly tense moment where he basically tells her, after all the horrible things I've done for the greater good, like, I killed our dad, like, our mom died giving birth to me, like, I killed your kids, even though he says, like, I loved those kids, but it had to happen. It's pretty much, like, he's like, here's your chance. If this is it, kill me.
Yeah, kill me now. And there's like
there's a split second where the mountain pulls out the sword a bit, and you're like, oh God, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And this is the first time my heart stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped breathing.
Yeah, I figured I was like, this is gonna be tense, but I just don't think they would kill off Tyrion that way. I mean, Game of Thrones, like, you never really know, but like, I feel like his death, if he does end up dying in this series, like, might be a little bit more epic or more like dramatic or stuff like that. Which that scene there's a scene right before where he meets Jaime before they go there, and they both call each other idiots.
Well, I'm an idiot. Well, I'm an idiot too. Well, I'm the bigger idiot. Then we're both just two idiots. So that's probably why we're probably going to name this episode Game of Thrones and Two Idiots.
Yeah.
But then there's a great moment where basically Cersei lets him live, and he immediately picks up a glass, and the jug of wine pours it, and just downs the entire glass. Like, I half expected him to be like, I might have peed myself a little bit.
Which kind of, leads that little bit of comedy to the series. And
it lightened the situation up a bit after how tense it just was.
Yeah. He's definitely dramatic but comic relief to a lot of the scenes and stuff, and almost anything he's in is both dramatic and comedic.
A little comedic,
yeah.
What was next? Obviously, we're not going to cover the episode scene by scene. We'd be here just longer than the show itself ran.
Well, I mean, it quickly goes to there's the other scene where Cersei almost kills Jaime because she ends up saying that she was actually not tricking. She was tricking everybody and saying that she's not going to go march to the wall to help.
After we see Jaime's given an oath to go to the wall.
Yeah, because she does come back and ends up telling them that she changed her mind and she will go and march again. So it leads to another scene where Jaime's tells her that what are you doing? This is crazy. We need to go up there and help, because if not, there isn't going to be a kingdom there's going to be left. And then
the way I almost took that scene too is obviously Jaime survived, but I felt like she was about to give the order.
Yeah, she was.
And before she got the chance, he was like, "Fuck this," and he just walked out of the room. And the mountain was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So he didn't even give her the chance to kill him, because he was going to go fulfill his oath.
So definitely, I mean, this kind of has some more where Jaime is probably going to end up. He betrays his sister and stuff. Yeah. So it's you're gonna see how far he goes. I mean, is he gonna go completely against her and maybe he's the one that ultimately ends up killing Cersei's, which is one of my fan theories. I think it's either going to be Cersei's or Arya at the end that's going to end up killing her, because if they're going to still have more deaths in the Game of Thrones, which is Game of Thrones, you're going to see more. It's most likely going to be one of those two characters that are going to end up killing Cersei's, in my opinion.
From there, I think we went to Winterfell. And we were back with the Starks.
Yeah, back with the Starks.
And Littlefinger playing his game, trying to pit Sansa and Arya against each other. Mm-hmm. So it comes to it. or they have this. They bring in Arya into the main chamber, and all the guards are there. Sansa and Bran are sitting there, Littlefinger's in the corner, and Sansa starts saying, like, "You're accused of murder and treason. How do you respond to these, Lord Baelish?" And like turns from Arya and looks at Littlefinger, and he looks like he just shit himself.
Yeah. So,
and then we start, because you're really wondering too, like, why is Bran there? Like, as the three-eyed raven, he knows what's going on. Like, he can see, Arya and Sansa really are on the same side.
Yeah.
But then he can also see all of Littlefinger's transgressions. So, like, basically, as soon as Bran showed up, Littlefinger was fucked.
Yeah, I mean, Littlefinger and, like, Bran and Arya are, like, you know, two big major players in this whole thing. So Littlefinger, he can't fool these two characters, and he might be able to fool some of the other characters, but these two are the most I don't know if I would say grounded, but like they're the most like
they don't have ambition for the
throne and everything.
They just want their family to survive and be together, which is different than a lot of the other characters.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, then you see it happen. This is the first time you see Littlefinger kind of thrown off his game, and like you know, to that extent that he even like gets on his knees and starts begging, crying, and stuff like that. Saying
he begs the head of the Army of the Vale to protect him and take him back to the Vale, and they're like, "No, not going to do it. Sorry." Not sorry.
So you finally see Arya. She kills Littlefinger, and like that's probably one of the the deaths that like a lot of people wanted to see.
I think we both cheered when that happened.
Yeah, we're like, "Fuck yeah!" Because I mean, Littlefinger, he's done some good for it, but I think most of the stuff he's done has been like bad, and it's only been to help out his own game plan,
own agenda,
and all that stuff. So. Then what happens after that? It goes.
They pretty much decide that they're trying to say that Daenerys should ride the dragons to Winterfell for her safety, because people along the way are going to want her dead. But they decide that she needs to be seen with Jon.
Yeah. That
she's coming not as a conqueror but as a savior. So that she's riding with them on the boats.
On the boats, yep.
When at the same time, Sam shows up at Winterfell and meets Bran, and there's a great line. He goes, "Oh, so what happened to you beyond the wall?" And he goes, "I became the three-eyed raven." And Sam goes, "Great. I don't know what that means."
Like, that's nice.
And then there's a bit where he's like, Jon and Daenerys are coming to Winterfell, and he goes, "You saw a vision of this?" And then he just holds up the little piece of parchment, like, "Oh, you got a raven."
So I mean, those two characters I think are pretty funny, because the interaction between them two, like Bran has become like very stoic now and like serious, and like has almost no like comedic like aspect to him anymore.
And he really hasn't for several seasons now. It's not since the first season, I'd say. There's no positivity out of that kid.
Yeah, he's just like very stoic. It's like, I am the three-eyed raven now. And then you have...
But then at that point is when Sam and Bran start discussing things together, and they realize Jon's heritage.
Yeah, you start to realize Jon's heritage in that scene, and like it's finally completely confirmed and revealed, even though like a lot of people pretty much figured out that Jon was, the heir to the throne and everything.
Now, this is the interesting part, because a lot of people were suspecting like he was the product of the Mad King raping Jon's mother, but that's not true. That's not what we found out.
Yeah.
So you did some research, because I've forgotten a lot about it.
We're a little confused because, I mean, it's, of course, it's Game of Thrones. There's like tons of different characters, and there's names that you didn't even like hear about, but. From my research, is what I found, and what it reveals in the episode, is that Jon is the product of Ragnar, I believe is how you say his name, which is the oldest son of the Mad King. He's the brother to
Daenerys,
and the middle brother, which is
the guy who got gold poured
all
all
over and stuff, which died in the first season. So he's the older brother, and he's the one. He ends up getting married to the
Ned Stark's
sister, which and they had John, and his real name is Eddard
Targaryen. Which Eddard is Ned's full name. Ned is like the short version of it. Okay. So he's basically half Stark, half Targaryen, and he just... Let's go out and say it. He essentially nails his aunt in the episode.
Yeah,
and they don't know.
So as they're speaking this, you see like he goes and he starts like nailing Daenerys. And like
I love that we're using the word nailing.
Nailing, you know.
We're grown-ups. But as that's happening and we're hearing the voiceover of Bran explaining this, Tyrion's outside the door and has obviously now seen what happens. And there's always been the suspicion that Tyrion knew. At least in my opinion. I feel like Tyrion knew they had some stronger connection.
Oh, yeah.
So he's watching this and is probably like, oh God, this probably isn't going to turn out well.
Yeah. Either that or like that scene I was a little confused about just because like why was he watching? Like I don't know if he knows or like maybe he has his own...
Or at least suspects
or maybe he has his own feelings for the queen or something like that.
Everybody seems to.
Yeah, I mean it seems like almost everybody that she meets, like everybody like falls in love with her, so... and then
there's the final...
Yeah, the final scene and they're at the wall, like I think it's what
it's the East Watch.
Yeah.
So it's along the coast, right at the end where the wall ends into the ocean, and it's now been established White Walkers can't swim.
Yeah.
So I can never remember his name. It's the wildling with the big ginger hair and beard and everything. The really funny guy who's in love with Brienne.
Yeah.
Is on top of the wall, and then just White Walkers start coming out, and they're getting kind of nervous, and then you hear the dragon shriek and the wings flapping, and it comes out. And I don't know if it was blowing ice or if it was just blowing fire so hot it burned blue.
I think it's just blue fire. That's because I don't think it's ice.
Because the fire would still make more sense.
Yeah, so I think he blows blue fire. I mean, or is maybe it's like a magic fire. That's why it's blue.
But basically into the wall, like right in the middle of this one section, so it just starts coming down. And that's actually one character we don't know if he's alive or dead.
Yeah, they don't really show his death, but they don't show him actually surviving either.
They pretty much take out a huge section of wall, and the White Walkers just move into Westeros.
Yeah.
So we pretty much finished the season with that image of the White Walkers moving in. How did you feel with the season overall?
Overall, I feel like the season was really good. I mean, there was a lot of like awesome moments in this season. It's definitely like you get some like Jon Snow meets Daenerys and everything. You get some like awesome moments where the characters are finally meeting on screen, and it's been like years since they've like seen each other and stuff like that. So definitely, there's a lot of like cool moments of that in this season.
I really enjoyed it. There's actually a scene from the finale we didn't talk about, where basically when we see the White Walkers, the guy who's now king of the Iron Islands takes off saying he's going back to the islands.
Yeah.
But I guess really he's kidnapped Yara and is going to get backup from across the sea. But then the people who are left, Theon confronts them and says like that they swore an oath to Yara and they need to save her.
Yeah.
And basically he gets into a fight with this guy who beats the crap out of him, then tries to knee him in his junk.
Yeah.
But he has no junk anymore. So like he just kind of smiles and then like headbutts him and then takes over, beats the crap out of him. And
the king
of the king of Rochambeau. Theon Greyjoy is the king of Rochambeau. cannot beat him. He cannot lose. But he basically convinces the guys who are left to take their ships and go after Yara to save her.
So I mean, I think the season ended pretty well. I was surprised that there was only one real major death in the whole season.
Yeah,
I mean the whole episode.
Yeah,
which was of course Littlefinger, but.
And then we don't know if the wildling guy is dead.
Yeah, I feel like he's not, because like they usually like he is the main character, and like usually when they kill off somebody, they won't kill him off that way. They'll show him dying.
They'll address it.
They'll address that he died some way, somehow. They'll show his death some way. He's probably still alive, most likely, but it's not 100%. But he probably still is alive, and he's gonna have to be on the run from the White Walkers because they are like they're over the wall now, and
they're coming. And we did see at one point Jaime was leaving the castle and snow started to fall.
Yeah. And
they were in the south.
So, and I do have a question, like, make in the comments below there was, the White Walkers have giants, dragons, and there's a bunch of White Walkers, but I thought they also had, like, elephants, like, at some point, too. Like, zombie, I thought I saw a poster or something like that with them having, like, zombie elephants or something. I
don't remember.
I don't know. That. That's what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. And then overall, I can't wait for the next season. But you told me that it's going to be not until
they're saying not till 2019 possibly. So it might be over a year.
Yeah, that's going to be suck. That's a long way.
Possibly 2 years.
Yeah,
we'll see because it's one less episodes, only 6 episodes, but they are all going to be. Like this length, they're going to be feature length. So
about an hour and a half or so.
We're getting one less episode, probably about 2 to 3 hours more of content. Mm-hmm. So I'm still stoked for that.
Who do you think is going to survive the whole battles and everything? Who do you think is definitely going to die, and who's going to actually survive? Or should we leave that for another?
I'm going to have to think on that one. The only person I think for sure is going to survive, though, I think Jon Snow is going to survive.
Yeah.
Because I think, just like The Walking Dead is really about Rick, like you can't kill Rick.
Yeah.
I think Game of Thrones is about Jon Snow.
I think Game of Thrones is about Jon Snow, Daenerys. I think those two are pretty much the main ones.
Yeah, I think they have the highest chance. But if they get into it, I don't know which one of them would survive.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Jon Snow.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think those two are probably going to survive. And, I think Tyrion is probably... He's like a 50-50, but if they kill him, it's probably going to be some kind of epic way to kill that character, since he is like probably the most recognizable character from Game of Thrones, besides Jon Snow and Daenerys. But
I think if Tyrion's going to go, he's got to go in like a super badass or like sacrificial way.
Yeah,
like he's got to die like a hero.
Yeah.
He can't just get like burned by a dragon or something like that. Like if he gets stabbed or something, it's because he's jumping in front of a dagger for somebody else or something like that. That's how I think he's going to go.
Yeah.
If he does.
Yeah. But yeah, I say overall it's like badass season, badass episode. Not too much action in it, but
didn't need it.
Didn't really need it. It's just kind of like just setting everything up for the next season,
which is probably going to be like really action filled with the White Walkers being in now. So
White Walkers they're finally going to get to the real war, which is 7 seasons, and it's like everybody.
Winter's finally here.
Winter's finally there, and it's like there you go.
Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of Big Damn Geeks TV and hanging out for one of our longer episodes, talking about one of the longer things we've watched. We know there's a ton of Game of Thrones fans out there, and we probably got some stuff wrong. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comments anything we might have messed up on or missed. what your favorite moments were, what you might think is going to happen in the future, who might live, who might die. Let us know and check us out next time. As always, I'm Pete, joined by
Jean-Claude.
And we will see you next time.
Later.
The White Walkers are coming to get you, Barbara.